Boy, am I gonna piss off a bunch of you in my audience with this video. Oh boy, I can't wait. This is gonna be fun. Now, this video only applies to you if you are possibly looking into learning how to code or improve your coding skills, or you have just started to learn how to code. If you are already an experienced programmer with years of experience, this video doesn't necessarily apply to you, but the end of this video will, because at the end of the video, I'm going to talk about how to make money as a coder without knowing how to code. It's something I have done personally myself many times. I am Caleb Jones, and this is Sovereign CEO. I help people just like you how to set up location-independent businesses, move to a less bad country, or at least set up an international backup plan and do all these things for very little money. One of the most common pieces of advice you get on the internet, and this is not a meme, although at one point it was a political meme, but this is a serious piece of advice I have seen given over and over and over and over and over and over again from various people on the internet to various other people on the internet, and I have seen various people on the internet pursue this option, and that is learn how to code. You should learn how to be a coder, learn how to be a programmer. I don't know why they call them coders now. In my day, they used to call them programmers, but I guess now I'm supposed to call them coders. Why do you guys keep changing the names of certain terms? Why can't you keep the same terms? I don't know. That's just something society does I don't understand. Anyway, the advice goes something like this. Hey, you should learn how to code because then you'll make more money and you'll always have a job. People will always hire you. You'll be good to go. It's a good way to make money, a good income, and it's a good stable way to maintain your income because you'll always have a job if you learn how to code. This is horrible advice on multiple levels that you must resist with all of your might. Now again, if you are already an experienced programmer, coder, and you've been working for many years, then fine, keep doing what you're doing if you want to, although I have a better option for you in a little bit at the end of this video. I'm talking to you if you're curious about maybe learning to code, or you're currently beginning to learn how to code, or maybe you know how to code a little bit, you're trying to improve your coding skills. Do not do this. Do not learn how to code. This is advice that will not make you happy. It will not set you free. It will not make you a lot of money, and it will not improve your life unless your goals are very, very low. If your goal, and I've said this many times, if your goal is to be a wage slave and have no freedom for the rest of your life and to make an average income and to be location dependent and go down with the ship in your collapsing Western country, then by all means ignore my advice and do whatever you want, although I don't know why you're watching this content if that's the case. I'm operating under the assumption that you want to make good money, that you want to be location dependent, and that you want to be free, and that you want to be internationally mobile. Otherwise, again, why would you be watching my videos? I'm not sure how that works. Let me list the reasons why you do not want to learn how to code. Reason number one, and I've said this before, when you learn how to code, you go into competition against an entire country with almost 1 billion people who all know how to code and will code for far less money than you ever will accept. The country is called India. You may have heard of it. So yes, you as a Westerner, when you learn how to code, you are going into direct competition with people from the emerging world who are better than you, will work harder than you, who are probably smarter than you. Indians tend to be smarter than white people. It's statistical. Go look it up. And will work for less money than you. Does that sound like a good idea to you? That sounds like a very stupid idea to me. We've already seen this happen. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when you were a programmer, you made a lot of money. A lot of money. Today, is that true? Not really, because so many goddamn people are doing it, particularly people in non-Western countries who employers and people like me have easy access to because of the internet. This is not a smart idea, and I'll give you a more specific example. Years ago, it was a really good idea to be an attorney. If you were an attorney years ago, you made a lot of money. So what happened about 10 to 20 years ago is a whole bunch of people went to law school, a whole bunch of people became attorneys, and then now there's a glut of attorneys in the marketplace. My wife a few years ago was looking to get a job, and she was applying for a job that was paying around $45,000 a year. And she was going up against guys who were attorneys trying to get that job. These are guys who went to law school hoping they could make the big bucks as attorneys and were now going after jobs as low as $45,000 a year. Why? Because there were too many attorneys in the marketplace, and that's the problem with coders. You are choosing, by learning how to code, to go into competition against hundreds of millions of people. Not smart if you want to command a high income. Reason number 2 you do not want to learn how to code is that coding is a very easily outsourceable function. All you have to do to hire a coder is to go on a website like Upwork, which I go on all the time, press a few buttons, and bam, you have hundreds of guys who want to work for you and will charge you low rates. I, in my consulting practice and my online business, have been hiring developers and coders, and I've been doing this for over 25 years. And I can tell you for a fact, today it is far more easy to very quickly, sometimes within minutes, hire a developer, a coder, what have you, on the internet with great ease. Why is that? Because there's so many people to choose from. Does that sound like something you want to do? Do you want to learn how to code and then become some kind of freelancer where you're going into competition against hundreds of other guys, many of whom will charge less money than you? No, you don't want to do that. You want to learn how to do something that is not easily outsourceable. The things that I do in my companies, my consulting, my Alpha Male 2.0 company, my Sovereign CEO company, my marketing company, these are things that are difficult to find other people to do besides me. I'm not saying there isn't anyone you could find besides me, but they're much harder to outsource or to get help with than it is if you're a goddamn coder. You see the problem? When you become a coder, you become a commodity. You don't want to be a commodity in the marketplace. You want to be something unique and special and niched in the marketplace. Before I go on with the other reasons, if you like this content, you should subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment on this video. It doesn't matter what you say. The more algorithm-friendly activity I get in these videos, the more of these videos I will produce for you for free, so you're only helping yourself. Reason number 3, you do not want to learn how to be a coder because that way you'll always have a job, is because you don't want a job. You don't want a job. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I suggest you watch this video right now. Pause this video and watch that video right now and then come back. Here at Sovereign CEO, we do not teach having a job. Having a job means you are a slave. Having a job means you are not free. I teach freedom. I want you to be free. You will never be free if you work for someone else. Yes, even if it's location independent. Yes, even if you kind of set your own schedule. You are still not free. The only way you can be truly free in your financial life is either you have a lot of money and you put it in investments and you live off the interest and now you don't need a job, or you have your own location independent business that pays you no matter where you are in the world, that takes less than 30 hours a week to maintain, that you 100% control, which is what I teach, the Alpha 2.0 business model. That's exactly what I talk about here at Sovereign CEO. That's it. Having a job will not set you free. So for you to learn how to code, you are basically telling yourself, telling the marketplace, telling your own subconscious, I want to be a slave. I want to have a skill that employers will like so that I will always have a job and always be a slave and never be free for the rest of my life. Well, Caleb, what if I want to learn how to code and start my own business? I will get to that in a minute. You don't need to know how to code in order to have a business that uses coders, and we'll cover that in a minute. There are still a lot of you in my audience, unfortunately, who are still stuck in the mindset of, I need a good job. I got to go to college so I can get a good job. I got to learn how to code so I can get a good job. I need this certification or that certification or this resume or this thing so I can get a good job. As I've talked about a billion times, we have entered into a dark age where people with jobs are less long-term financially secure than people like me who have their location-independent business. Because I have a flexible, low-overhead, location-independent business, I have more long-term flexibility in my financial life than you ever will having a job. If this was 1952, if this was 1985, yes, you could learn these skills to get a good job and you'd be okay. Those days are long past and it's gonna get a lot worse. You've got to get out of this job mindset. Really, this is going to kill some of you guys. Do what you need to do to start your own business, not become a better employee, i.e. wage slave. By the way, if you need help setting up your own location independent business, you should check out my SMIC program at joinsmic.com. That is my monthly training and mentorship program. We cover a lot of those business topics. In that program, you get my help personally, plus there's a lot of content you get for very inexpensive. JoinSMIC.com, check it out. I think you'll like it. Reason number 4, you shouldn't learn how to code. The pay sucks. I'm sorry, you don't make a lot of money as a coder anymore. You used to, like I said, there was a day where learning how to code would command you high dollars. Today, as I said, too much competition, it's become a commodity, and yes, it's a skill in demand, but it's not a very high paid skill in demand. Wouldn't you rather learn skills that will pay you a lot of money instead of the bare minimum? Instead of learning how to code and make this much money, why don't you learn sales or marketing and make this much money? But Caleb, I'm an introvert. I don't like sales. I'm an introvert. I know it doesn't seem like that, but I am. I'm an introvert. And I do just fine because I learned sales and I learned marketing. Some of the best salespeople in the world are introverts. Some of the best marketers, including online marketers, are introverts. You can be as introverted as fuck and do amazing if you learn high demand skills, high paying skills like marketing and sales, than bullshit, average, commoditized skills like learning how to code. If you're going to take the time and effort to learn a new skill that will pay you a lot for the rest of your life instead of small or average for the rest of your life, and even then, only as an employee. Think it through. Now, here's how you can make money in your own business via coding without knowing how to code. I do not know how to code at all. I have worked with programmers for many years, even back before I started my first business back in the 90s. I've been in the tech field for a long time. I can understand very simple HTML script and things like that. Way back in the day, I'm aging myself now, I took a few classes on COBOL and Fortran. That's how old I am. I used to program in BASIC back in the 80s when that was cool back then. But in terms of stuff today, I have no coding ability. Instead, what I do is this. When I go to my clients in my consulting practice and they need some kind of custom application or some kind of modification of their software, I will take what they need, then I will go hire my own coders and pay them very low because coders are cheap, hint, hint. And then I will tell the coders what to do. They will develop the app. I'll plug it into my client system. I will bill my client this much, pay my coders this much, and make this. For example, something I used to do all the time, way back when I used to charge hourly for my consulting, do not charge by the hour, I was doing this wrong, but I used to do things like pay a coder 20, 30 bucks an hour, but charge his hours at 100 to 125 an hour to my client. So I would charge 125 an hour, pay the coder 20 bucks an hour or 30 bucks an hour or whatever it was back then. And I would make more than the coder when the coder was putting in the hours, even though I wasn't doing any coding. You can do all kinds of things like this. If coding is a need that you have, or coding is a strong aspect of a business you want to get involved in, great. Go out in the marketplace, get customers and clients who require coding services, bring them in, get the solution down on paper, then hire the coders as cheap as fuck on Upwork and charge a total amount that is much more than you're paying the coders. That way, all you have to do is work with the client, make sure they're happy once the coders give you the apps, and that's it. It's very simple. Let me remind you that Steve Jobs did not know how to code. This is basically what he did on a mass scale. You can do the same thing. I've done this now for 25 years, if not longer. It's not that hard. Instead of learning how to code, learn how to find business that requires coding and outsource it. You will work less hours and make more money than the goddamn coders. That is being smart. That is being strategic. And that way you have your own business that you control that sets you free instead of being a coder and being a wage slave for the rest of your life. If you want to know 5 ways to start a location-independent business right now, watch that video. And I'll see you in the next video. Have fun. Bye.